Welcome to today's slow flow practice, an opportunity to slow down the movement, the breath, and the mind for a 30-minute sequence that stretches areas of tension and allows you to practice mindfulness, keeping the focus on each moment, using the breath as our anchor. And to slow it down, can you today think about there being a finite amount of breaths that you're able to take? So each inhale, you're lengthening the breath, taking in as much air as you can, filling up rib cage, abdomen. And each exhale, you're slowing down the release of that breath, trying to empty the body slowly, releasing air and pausing when you get to empty, also pausing when you land on full. And taking this awareness with us into our breath work, can you start to cultivate that long and slow inhale right here? And that equally as long and slow exhale. Taking these breaths through nose or mouth, feeling the chest rise on the in-breath and the chest fall, body soften on the out-breath. Couple more rounds in stillness, getting used to this way of breathing much slower than we normally would in our day-to-day life. As you rest the body, cultivating this breath, can you focus the mind on what it means to be slow for you, what it means to really slow down your life, observe more, do less, and take that intention with you into your practice if it resonates. When you're ready for movement, start to wiggle fingers and toes, and close the legs up, bringing the knees in towards the chest, hugging those shins in close and rocking side to side. Release neck and shoulders. Take the knees wide, grab shins, and rotate toes and ankles. Wake up the feet. An option to stay here or take happy baby, maybe grabbing ankles to start. Flexing feet towards the sky, arms are long, shoulders still touching down. Stay here or grab the feet, pushing up with the soles of the feet, pulling down with the palms, grounding shoulders and tailbone, stretching hips. Release, bring the left foot to the ground, right ankle on top of that left thigh. And take thread the needle, grabbing behind the left thigh or maybe over the shin. Thinking about hugging left knee in, right knee away. Scissoring hips to explore sensation that's right for you. Grab the left ankle with the right hand. Drop the legs as they are over to the left, keeping hold of that leg and then moving the knee away from the body. As you ground the right shoulder, look right, creating a stretch on the outer right hip. The more you move the knee away, the more you'll find this sensation. Turn it into a twist when you're ready. letting knees stack or eagle legs over to the left as you ground the right shoulder and twist the upper body. Slowing down that breath if it's sped up. And then slowly bring yourself back through center, unwinding the legs. Switching to the other side, starting with thread the needle, pushing left thigh away first, and then bringing it all the way into the chest. Thinking about stretching the left outer hip now. And shifting as needed to make this work best for your body. Linking movement with breath. Every inhale you find length. Every exhale you're able to hug in, maybe a little bit closer. Drop that leg over to the side, grabbing the ankle, and find that stretch through the outer hip once again. Knee towards the sky, moving away from the face. Starting to transition into a twist with the upper body. And when you're ready, you can add the legs, simply wrapping left on top of right or stacking knees. Knees are over to the right, chest and gaze is twisting to the left. Feel the rise and fall of the belly. Slow down the breath. When you're ready, transition back through center, unwind the legs and hug in towards center. Dropping the legs and rolling off to one side, supporting head with your bicep, knees into chest. Pausing in this shape for a moment to reflect once more on your intention for the practice, to move slowly, letting the slow breath guide you. Use your top arm to press yourself up and transition into a tabletop position at the front of your mat, setting up for some cat-cows, letting the tailbone guide the movement. So on the inhale, start to lift the tailbone first, let the mid and upper back and neck follow into your cow shape. And then exhale, curl from the low spine and continue this rounding shape. An opportunity to reconnect with that slow breath. Every transition in and out of cat and cow pose is led by an inhale or an exhale that you control the speed of. After your last round, come through center, tuck your toes, lift your knees, push back, and start to lift the hips up and back into your first down dog, moving hips and feet, bending knees a lot, high on balls of feet, stretching out the soles. Relaxing head, shaking yes, no, and pressing into palms, strong, straight arms. Pausing in stillness, reconnecting with breath. Are you breathing through your nose or your mouth? Staying mindful and conscious of these choices, curious to how it changes the physical practice. Next inhale, come high on the balls of the feet, bend the knees, and look forward as you step towards the hands. Feet are hip-width distance apart, bend the knees a lot, relax the belly on thighs, and grab opposite elbows as you hang over the legs in a forward fold. Make this more about relaxing the spine than stretching the legs. But if you'd like to start to straighten the knees and explore sensation in those hamstrings, go ahead. Maybe bending one knee as you straighten the other, allowing this to sway the torso side to side, increasing sensation in the lower body and releasing the upper body. Release the arms and take a slow roll up to standing. Head is last to rise. Shrug the shoulders when you get there. Maybe release the neck with some head rolls, semicircles in each direction. And then steady through both feet. Inhale, you'll reach the arms up overhead, interlace hands, point the fingers. And exhale, take a side bend over to the right, arms on either side of the ear, chest slightly twisting towards the sky. Steady through both feet. Every inhale you find length, every exhale you find depth. Inhale through center and exhale the other side. Controlling this depth so that you don't drop into the low back, but you feel it through the side body, both a stretch and a bit of oblique work. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, drop the hands and bring them to your low back. Soften the knees, roll the shoulders back, and on your next exhale, start to squeeze upper back. Elbows come closer together for a back bend targeted at the mid and upper spine. Gaze stays forward. Don't lean back, stay stacked over hips. Mindful of low back. Back through center, drop the arms. Take the same variation or inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, find that same sensation as you open the chest. Open mid and upper back and protect the low back with the core strength as you tuck the tailbone. Inhale back through center and exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, release. Again, inhale, halfway lift, flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, find that chest proud, look forward. Exhale, release. Plant the palms, step back to a plank pose. Listen carefully, we're dropping the knees, keeping the hips lifted, coming forward, bending elbows and dropping chin and chest at the same time. And then inhale, slithering forward, hands by your side as you open into baby cobra. Exhale, release, press through knees and hands into a modified plank. Up and back, tucking toes, finding downward facing dog and pedaling it out. So that becomes our modified flow for today's practice. Releasing the effort for a moment here. Begin to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Grab your peace fingers and loop your big toes, bend your knees a lot. Inhale, halfway lift, open the chest, and then exhale, belly on thighs once again, bending the elbows out to the side, releasing the head, and finding this flat back as you pull on the toes, stretching the backs of the legs, tipping the weight forward into the balls of the feet. Release, shake out the wrists and take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Pause in mountain pose. Steady on both feet, setting up for tree pose. Let's start right knee lifted, opening the hip, bringing it above or below the knee. Hands through heart center, pressing foot into leg, leg into foot, and maybe reaching the hands up. Maybe crossing the wrists and pressing palms together, arms by your ears. Gaze can be down, forward, or gently rising up as well. And just breathe here, steadying yourself, playing with balance. Inhale, release the arms, bring them down to your hip. And exhale, release the leg and foot just as slowly. Other side, left knee up, open the hip. Find foot on inner leg and then reach the arms up, crossing the opposite way, opposite wrist in front, pressing palms together and relaxing neck and shoulders when you get there. Breathing into the abdomen, pressing foot into leg each exhale. Next inhale, release the arms. Slowly release the shape altogether and come to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step to that plank. Come forward and drop the knees, hips lift, elbows bend, chest and chin touch down. Inhale, slither forward flat, open the chest for baby cobra. And then release, press into knees and hands, lift up, and then back into a downward facing dog. Take this opportunity to release hips and legs, lengthen spine, release neck. Your home base to check in with your breath. Inhale high on the balls of the feet. Bend the knees and exhale, transition to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot and step onto the palms of your hands, one foot and then the other. Get all the way to the wrist crease as much as you need to bend the knees. And then relax the upper body, bending elbows to the side, releasing belly on thighs and letting the head relax effortlessly here. Little stretch of the wrists while we're stretching those legs as you tip the weight forward into the toes. And breathe. Slow inhale. Slow exhale. Release the hands when you're ready, one at a time, and then take a really slow roll up to standing, stacking spine. Getting ready to play with balance once again. Dancer's pose. Let's set up. Lifting the left leg to start, bringing the foot behind you, grabbing the inside of the foot so the shoulders open. And you're going to hug that knee to meet the right knee so they're in line. Tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute for sensation of a stretch. And you may stay right there or start to kick foot into hand. Hand pulls against foot and it naturally lifts the knee up and back as your chest stays proud. Dip in the low back should feel comfortable and the gaze is looking forward. Slowly come out of it. Shake it out before we transition to the other side. Right knee lifts up this time, grab the foot. Tuck the pelvis, check in with the core to protect the low back. Maybe you stay here, feeling the quad stretch, or maybe you start to kick and resist foot against hand as the knee gently lifts back and the chest stays proud and forward. Mid upper back is what is getting this mobility stretch. And slowly release, shake it out. Top of the mat, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step to plank. Inhale forward and exhale, drop those knees, hips lift and drop chin and chest. Inhale, slither forward. Exhale, transition up and back into a downward facing dog. Using your down dog as an opportunity to check in with how you're feeling physically, listening to the breath, seeing if you can slow it down even more. And then we're going to inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, step it between the hands, turn to face the side, all 10 toes facing forward, hands support you under your face. Inhale, halfway lift with the chest, and exhale, fold, bend the elbows. Inhale, halfway lift once again. Exhale, fold. Grab the outside of the legs, shins or ankles, bending elbows any amount as you hug yourself in between your legs. Shift weight forward to the toes, hips towards sky. You can stay here, or your hands may reach back behind you, fingertips away from the face, allowing you to almost somersault even more into the toes. Maybe the head touches the ground or comes closer. Hands come back under face. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, hands on hips, press into feet and lift all the way up. Arms come behind the back, open the chest, and dive back down for a chest and shoulder opening in this wide-legged forward fold. Release head and neck even more. Get that fist further overhead. Release the hands under face, and then walk to the front of your mat, plant your palms, step back to a plank, and lower all the way, chin and chest. Inhale, cobra pose, mid and upper back open. Exhale, release and press into hands and knees to lift up, tuck toes, lift to downward facing dog. Pedal it out, center yourself. And then inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee behind wrist, foot out to the side. Inch the back leg way back and untuck the toes. Find the left hip back, right hip forward. And then when you're ready, you can lower into your sleeping pigeon. Maybe bringing palms together, using the thumb to support the third eye, and even giving yourself a little massage across the brow. You had a finite amount of breath left. Could you slow it down even more right here? Resting the body, letting gravity do the stretching. Couple more breaths. Take your last exhale. And then inhale, start to sit yourself up, sit over onto your left hip and swing your right leg around, connecting the feet and letting the knees come wide. Grabbing those feet, opening the chest and tilting the pelvis forward, flat back as you stretch the inner lines of the legs. Maybe elbows push those knees away. Stay active for a couple breaths. And then when you're ready, move those feet further away, more of a diamond shape. Bring the hands under the legs, palms up, and let your head drop. Allow your spine to round and turn this into a passive stretch. Still opening the inner lines of the legs, but also feeling this stretch through the low back and perhaps the entire spine as the head rolls left and right to release the neck. Breathe here. Send the breath to the back body. And then slowly round up. Close your legs up like a book. Cross your ankles and come forward, transitioning back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, bring the knee forward behind the wrist, foot to the side, setting up for pigeon on the other side. Starting tall so you hug that right hip back, left hip forward. And then when it feels good, you can start to lower, maybe to elbows, maybe coming back to support the head in some way with the hands, either through prayer hands or through stacked fists. Finding some way to rest the skull. Find the inhales and exhales being directed to that outer right hip where you're feeling sensation. See if the breath can change or at least keep the mind focused on that area of the body. And then at the bottom of your next breath, you'll start to lift the chest up, sit over onto the right side, swing your left leg forward and bend both knees, feet nice and wide. Bring the hands underneath one leg and across to the opposite shin, rounding the spine once again and letting yourself lean back, knowing that your hands are keeping you from falling. Feeling this stretch through a rounded spine. We've done so much back bending. Let this feel good to hug in towards yourself. Slowly lift up, release the hands, support yourself as you come all the way back onto your back body. Arms overhead, knees are bent, feet are nice and wide. Setting up for bridge pose, bring the feet underneath of the knees. Make sure you can tickle those heels. And then when you're ready, you're going to inhale, tuck the pelvis. Exhale, push into heels using glutes to lift the low back off the ground. Hands come to belly when you're high in bridge and start to feel the belly rise and fall with the deep breath that you're able to take here. Balloon it out on the inhale, collapse it on the exhale. Slowly release your bridge, vertebrae by vertebrae. Hips rest down, arms come overhead, and the feet move wide away from each other. Start to windshield wipe the knees right and then left. Pause when you get to the left side. Breathe into the right side body, especially through that right hip. Inhale back through center. Exhale, knees over to the right, still super wide with the feet. Breathing into the left side body now, that left hip reaching towards the sky. And then come back through center with the knees, connect the feet and let the knees fall wide into that butterfly shape with the right hand on the belly and the left hand on the heart. Landing in stillness, gravity pulling knees down, opening the hips. Right hand following the rise and fall of your slow inhales and exhales. Left hand feeling the heart start to slow down with each beat. Close the eyes if you haven't already. Begin to drop into stillness and that slow, controlled breath that you've been focusing on. Let it go. Let the breath do whatever it wants to do. If it becomes shallow or jagged, that's okay. No more effort on your part other than to keep the mind grounded right here and observe whatever comes up for you during your final Shavasana shape. 2 whole minutes of stillness right here. And as we end the practice, take this intention of slowing down with you into the rest of your day, into the rest of your week. Continuing to stay curious with what it means to slow down and what it offers you to really pay attention, both to the body and to the mind. Using this slow breath anytime you need to reconnect. When you're ready to move from your Shavasana, do so slowly. Wishing you a restful day ahead, remembering to be good to yourself. Namaste.